Whenever I read about hell in scripture, I automatically assumed that it was talking about an eternal place of torment and torture that was a result of the sin in our lives that was left unrepentant and the salvation that we did not access through Jesus. And so whenever I talked or read about hell, I just assumed that that's what they were talking about. But I do recall reading about how the early and ancient Jewish people did not have a sense of eternal punishment, that they were not even, imagining that the afterlife would be about eternal torment, that they believed that the body and the soul were one, and when the body died, your existence ended. And so as I, began to think a little bit about this passage and think about Jesus, who was a Jew through and through, although he was God and he had a sense of eternity, it made me think a little bit about what Jesus was actually trying to communicate to his disciples when he talked about addition by subtraction. I think Jesus is saying actually that what is at stake is not necessarily your eternal state of being, but he's talking about the kind of state of being we are creating now, when we are not able to create societies that do not have stumbling blocks for people and creation. That as a point of fact, Jesus is saying that hell as a state of being is just as problematic as an eternal place of torment. That the stumbling blocks that we do not remove from people's pathways actually create a perpetual state of suffering in this present life. And we are called then to examine the ways in which we are putting stumbling blocks in people's lives while they are alive today. Because if we put stumbling blocks in their lives, and what are stumbling blocks? Racism. What are stumbling blocks? Economic exploitation. What are stumbling blocks? Violence against women. What are stumbling blocks? Transphobia, homophobia that leads to the dehumanization of God's creation. What are stumbling blocks? Not taking care of the environment. What are stumbling blocks? Rape, murder. What are stumbling blocks? Cheating one another. What are stumbling blocks? Police brutality and white supremacy and misogyny and sexism. I think Jesus is telling them, if you don't remove those stumbling blocks, then you are creating a hell-like reality for people right